This program is sponsored in part by the National Catholic Society of Foresters. Hello again, and welcome to Looking at Social Justice. I'm Jim Grant, and it's my privilege each week to do something about social justice through this little program we call Looking at Social Justice. It's a podcast, it's a TV program, it's a YouTube program. What it is, though, is mostly a chance to give people in the Valley an opportunity to share their passion for justice. That could be environmental, it could be social, it could be immigration, it could be something in the legal system. There are so many social justice issues. But I think the most important one right now, possibly, is the census. And I say that because the first principle of Catholic social teaching is the respectful life and the dignity of each human person. Well, each person has a dignity, and that begins with them being alive and being valued and counted. In the census, we are needing to do this year, in 2020, a major task of counting every person living in the United States. And today we have two guests who are going to tell us why they are involved in this process and invite us to become employees also of this project, Census 2020. My friend Ike Grewal, he and I go back a long time. He happens to be very important in this process right now because he's the area census office manager for Fresno and the environs. And assisting him would be Carlos Gonzalez, who's the lead census field manager, with persons under him doing the work that we're going to be talking about right now. So Ike, it's great to have you on a program to talk about something that you are right now passionately committed to. What got you on board with the census, and what is your exact work in it right now?
What got me into census, Jim, is the importance of it. It's so important to make sure that we count every single person living in America, and we do this as based on our Constitution, and we've been doing this since the year 1790. And we do this to make sure that everybody is counted, and everybody's counted once. And why I got involved with this is because of my passion. I've been working the census in the past years also, and also in the past decade. We do the census count once every 10 years. I worked in 2010, and in between some of the surveys that happened, I went out with census workers who needed help with translation into Punjabi. And here I am. I'm now the area census office manager in Fresno. The Fresno census office not only oversees parts of Fresno County, but at the same time, it oversees the counties of Madera, Merced, and Stanislaus counties, all the way up to Modesto and beyond.
Carlos, you're there in that same office. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what it means to be the field manager under Ike.
Yeah, I can say that unlike Ike, I don't have the same background. So I actually came across this job posting by coincidence. I was in the market to look into getting a new career opportunity, and I happened to stumble upon the opportunity to be a lead census field manager. It wasn't something I'd planned. It's something that I had applied for and had forgotten about. It wasn't until I got the call to come into interview that I really understood the benefits of what I was doing and what I had ultimately applied for. So, and now I'm here. I've accepted the position, and I'm directly working under Ike at our office, and it's my duty as a lead census field manager to oversee other census field managers. These are individuals who will be working closely with what we call census field supervisors, as well as enumerators or listers. Some people know them as census takers. And so my job is to help oversee the operation and help those census field managers be the best managers they can be.
We'll get back with details about who works with you and what work entails. But you did a nice interview. I saw it on ABC News. And why don't we let our viewers and our listeners hear what Mike shared with ABC News about the importance of the census and the need to have some people join the project as assistants on this job.
It's getting closer and closer to Census Day, and the federal government is hiring census takers.
We're taking applications right now. The sooner you apply, the sooner you get into the pipeline to be processed and to get selected and get trained.
Ike Grewal is recruiting manager with the Census Bureau in Fresno. Interested applicants can apply online, and it takes about 30 minutes. Pay is about $16.50 per hour for a census worker.
Anybody over 18 who has a valid social security number and an email address is eligible to apply.
Most hiring will be done in spring. Officials say flexible hours allow people to work evenings and weekends. This video provided by the government shows the work census takers will be doing as they check in with residents who have not responded to the census. Officials say these employees will help gather important information.
It's going to be used to not only determine your congressional delegation for our state, but at the same time, we're going to use the data to help tap into more than $675 billion of federal funds to be used for our schools, our roads, and our hospitals.
Throughout the nation, thousands of positions will be filled. Information is collected every 10 years for the census. People will start being reminded about the census in March. You can respond by phone, mail, or online. Census Day is April 1st. In Fresno, Amanda Venegas, ABC 30 Action News.
So how did you feel about the impact that first video that you did for ABC News, what you were able to share? Any feedback or any sense that a lot of people are becoming aware because of what the media is doing? Is the media helping you?
Yes, definitely, Jim. We're trying to get the word out to hire thousands of people in the Central Valley to work for census. When the census questionnaire comes out in March, end of March next year in 2020, for folks that did not respond to this questionnaire, we'll have to send out census takers who will go out to help these families complete the questionnaire. And just to add to the ABC clip that you just showed, I hear that it's going to be confirmed that the census takers, instead of making $16.50, will be making $18 an hour. And at that time, I was the recruiting manager, and now I am the area census office manager. Just changes that took place from then to now.
Exactly. So it seems like this train is moving fast. There is every day a more urgency. We've resolved some of the questions over what's going to happen, but there are still many, many questions that I would have about jobs. I heard someone come by to a meeting we had the other day telling us and giving us information about that there are thousands of jobs, but let's begin with asking what might be some of those jobs. What are some titles of jobs? Before we get into the ones on this sheet, what are some jobs?
We encourage people to apply for the census jobs right away. Census jobs include people working in the office and working out in the field. In the office, we hire clerks, operational supervisors, and managers. And out in the field, we hire census field supervisors and census takers. Right now, we are hiring thousands of census takers throughout the Central Valley. And throughout the nation, we are going to be hiring 500,000 census takers throughout the whole nation. We want and need workers to be able to complete this census. It's a big task, and we're hiring right now. The pay is good, the hours are flexible, and the training is paid. There's paid training, and the pay is not bad at $18 an hour.
No.
Jim, if you will, I was going to mention, he mentioned all the great titles. There is one last, which is the title of recruiting assistant. So folks that can go out and actually help in recruiting these very titles that we were mentioning, that is also another title that we're actively working to recruit for as well.
Let's see some of the questions that are frequently asked, but could be answered at greater depth than maybe just, yes, we do that too. Why should someone at this point, watching this video, hearing it on Looking at Social Justice, why should they want to work for the Census Bureau? Why do they want to be a census taker?
It is really important, Jim, to be a census taker. Not are you only helping the community, like we said, this helps us draw all those funds to our communities. Not are you helping the community, but at the same time, this is a great opportunity for folks to earn some extra money, supplement their income. And that is why we encourage people to apply right away, because it does take some time for people to be processed and to be finally hired.
You said it was almost by coincidence, Carlos, that you did this. In retrospect, it has been a completely inspired moment that you did do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that during the last census, it was back in 2010, I don't even remember when that occurred. I was in a college dormitory. I don't remember even being a part of the census. Oh, what is this? So yeah, it was by coincidence, but now here I'm seeing how rewarding the position has been, how rewarding this work is, and ultimately, like Ike was mentioning, the work that we're putting in to help and benefit our communities. It's great to be a part of that effort.
Regarding benefits, it seems it's going both ways. It's like a win-win. It does sound like this is an optimal opportunity. What would be the major benefits, both communal and personal, that you want to share?
Communal, Jim, like I said earlier, these folks are part of history. They're taking account and making sure that it benefits our hospitals, our roads, and funding for our schools. But at the same time, it is so important to have a complete and accurate count, because this count is going to determine our congressional delegates. It's going to determine our counts, our boundaries, and boundaries for our state legislatures. So it's not only important that each employee works and gets paid $18 an hour as a census taker, be working flexible hours, and get paid training. And at the same time, with the flexible hours, I want to mention that especially because you can work evenings and weekends. And so even though you have a job already, a lot of people like to do this as a part-time job, work out and make some extra money. And it's easy to apply. All you got to do is go to 2020census.gov/jobs.
2020census.gov/jobs. I was there visiting, not that I'm looking at another job. I'm quite busy right here. Not even
you can apply, Jim. We will take you.
Not even part-time. Couldn't do it. But beautiful website, having lots and lots of resources. It's almost like this is such a campaign that I would hope the people watching and listening are appreciating the urgency of immediately committing to the census and paying attention to programs like this that are giving you opportunities. If you're a student, if you're a part-time employed person, if you're a retiree, there are multiple benefits. Is there one benefit, Carlos, that you would want to single out personally? It's been a real benefit to you to be involved.
I could think of one particularly when it comes to a personal benefit that I think I can benefit from, and many folks who will get onboarded with the census can benefit from, is quite frankly the fact that they'll be able to add this onto their resumes. This is going to be something that they can benefit from in the future. Although the census this decennial census will end in September of 2020, that'll stay there. The experience will stay there, and being able to add the Department of Commerce is going to be a great plus for many people, including myself.
Saw that on one of the ones that was talking about the power of college graduates. They need to sometimes have further credential, further experience, and having done this, even part-time, is a benny for them and for the community. How does someone apply? So it sounds great. How do they apply?
The application process is really simple, Jim. All you have to do is go to a website, to 2020census.gov/jobs, and you'll be asked to set up a profile. and complete an easy assessment application, and it does not take too much time at all. There's no resume required. There's no paperwork required. All applications are taken online, and you can just go to that website, 2020census.gov/jobs.
You would be a good example of this.
Yes, I would be. I would also mention that thankfully we have a number that folks can dial into if they have any issues, which is 1-855-JOB-2020. If they need assistance with the process, this is the first time that all applications must be done online. There's no opportunity to do paper applications. This will be a great number for folks to reach out to if they need assistance.
1-855-JOB-2020. 2020 seems to be the operative number. It's the census, it's the election, it's very important. And a phone call for some people might be an easier entree. We're knowing that with the census, that's going to be one way to complete, and it's also going to be one way that people that might need a little bit more help regarding the technology, that they might not have those digital devices that would make it simple to do the census, that would help. What are some of the requirements when you do apply? So in that 30-minute application, that it's only going to take about 30 minutes, what are some requirements that they're mentioning?
Jim, on that one, all you have to be is 18 and a U.S. citizen, have a valid driver's license, and then current email that you can use for the application.
There are other requirements that are go into more detail for more specific applicants regarding selective service and other things, but those are the very basic requirements, and all those are accessible via our website, again, at 2020census.gov/jobs.
Yeah, the one detail, males born after December 31st, 1959, that's not me, must also be registered with a selective service or have a qualifying exemption. So minimal paperwork, there's no paperwork.
There's no paperwork.
Minimal registration agony here. It's basically a simple, just do it. 30 minutes, you should be applied.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
It's simple. You set up a profile, complete your application with the assessment questions, and you're done.
Another question here says, when someone does apply for the 2020 census, what sorts of questions might be asked in that?
The application questions, Jim, are simple. It's a simple application. In the application, you're going to be asked about your education and your work experience. And no resume is required. Just a simple online application will do.
And there are, from what you've said, so many levels of what could be the job. So you're not applying necessarily, I suppose, for a certain job, but for the census?
Correct.
Or are you, yeah, you're just getting in the game.
Correct. Yeah. The other option to do is, if you notice, we mentioned roles that involve supervisors, management levels. There is an option for applicants to complete a supervisory assessment, which we recommend all employees or any prospective employees and applicants complete, so that they can be considered for other options. So yes, this is for all open positions.
When you are offered the job, which both of you have had that blessing, what happens next? So you're offered the job.
When you're offered the job, you get a call and an email. What happens next is that we need to run a background fingerprint check on you, and that's the reason it could take some time for the background check to be done and completed. So even though we encourage people to apply right now, and we want people to apply right now, they eventually will be hearing most likely in January or February.
But time is of the essence also. I suppose the urgency, we don't want to put you to slow down for any reason. Jobs are open. Operators are standing by listening. They want you to apply.
We need people to apply right now. We need people to apply immediately. We're taking applications right now. We're hiring for thousands of positions, and it's easy. All you have to go is go to the website 2020census.gov/jobs and put in your application today.
I did see something under this question of what's required of the 2020 employees. So you need your driver's license, of course, unless public transportation is readily available. Okay, so they'll even say, hey, you're in an area where you can get by on a bus. But it does say you need access to an internet-connected computer to complete the training.
Yes. You are paid for online training, and you need a computer to be able to do that. Once you're hired, you will be, as a census taker, going to different homes, and for that you need reliable transport, you need your own vehicle, and you need a valid and current driver's license, and of course the internet to be able to access online training.
Yeah. So that's one thing that, not to discourage, but to know a small hurdle is to have that technology available. Okay, now it gets better and better, because once you are employed, it gets really cool. So, schedule. Tell us something about the schedule that might be being followed by an employee.
The big benefit of the schedules here is that we want to emphasize the word flexible. Folks can have flexible hours, and we can accommodate folks' availability based on what they can work. We're looking at folks working weekends, nights, during the day, part-time hours, full-time hours. It's really a matter of what folks can work and being flexible to what the operation needs are. So very flexible hours.
Jim, if I may add, census takers will be going out to homes for people who did not respond to the census questionnaire. And to be able to go out and help these people, we need to catch them when they're going to be home. And like Carlos said, people are going to be home mostly in the evenings and weekends. So census takers' jobs are very, very flexible, and it's easy. Even though they're retired, they're working another job, they can easily make some extra money, extra income, doing this part-time job.
And another easy answer, I know, where will one be working basically once hired?
Our census takers and our recruiting assistants work from home. Their reporting station is their home. They work in their local communities, in their local neighborhoods to get everyone counted. All the office staff, clerical staff, work out of our Fresno office.
And where is that?
The Fresno census office is located on Fresno Street, Shaw and Basto area. It's 5377 North Fresno Street. But applications are not taken in the office. The applications are taken online, and we definitely encourage people to do so. It's a great job. It's a flexible job. It's paid training. So we encourage people, regardless whether they're retired, whether they are working, even students 18 and over. Mm-hmm. It's college students, they don't have too much money, and this is a good way to earn some extra money and supplement your income.
And that resume, there's so many. And it's also constructive, productive, historic work. There's so many reasons why I'm hoping you're listening and viewing this program as an invitation, as an urging to join something that 500,000 people will be involved in. 500,000 people involved in counting the rest of us, so that we're all counted. Because we all count, but are we going to be counted? Counting means money also. We count our shekels, don't we? When do you get paid? I know this is another comfortable thing where you don't get paid at the end of the month or the end of the year.
No, Jim. We don't wait the year to pay you. Census takers are paid weekly, and they get not only paid weekly, but they are reimbursed for any mileage at 58 cents a mile, or whatever the IRS changes it to increase the rates. We will pay them the IRS rates in paying for their mileage they use when they use their own vehicles to do the job.
That's a Benny right there, that it's not one of these, well, we pay you, but it's the government, and you know how that works, where You know, you're working for 3 months and then you'll get back pay sometime.
Yeah.
You're going to get it weekly.
You get paid weekly. Your first paycheck could hit your bank 14 days after the day you start your job.
And you mentioned the reimbursements.
Yes.
Total, I mean, basic reimbursement that someone would expect. They'll get them, you hand in a reimbursement slip and you're reimbursed.
Exactly.
That's good. Even training, I heard, which sometimes training becomes a wonderful experience, but it's there's no money to prove that it was that great. But while being trained, you're employed.
Yes, census takers are paid during their training also.
Like Ike was mentioning, the reimbursements are there, the training is there. Immediately when someone starts the first day of training, they can expect to see that pay within 10 to 14 business days. And with that being said, folks are curious about, well, you mentioned my personal vehicle, I need to have a driver's license. Folks working out in the field get reimbursed for mileage. So that's something that they get paid for, which at our current rate is about 58 cents a mile. So they get reimbursed for that as well.
We've got about a minute and a half, which means we did a good job. We covered, I think, what we meant to do in our half hour. But in that minute and a half, is there something that you'd like to return to or bring up one last item that we really want to drill here in a minute 30? What would you like to say, Ike?
I want to say in the last minute that census is so important in so many different ways we discussed. But what is so important is that we need workers to make sure that we are able to count, and counting is very, very important. And we're hiring right now. So we urge people, we invite people to come in and make your application right away, to get into the pipeline, to be cleared and processed, and to be fingerprinted and hired on the job. So all you have to do is to go to www.2020census.gov/jobs. It's easy. We encourage people to do so right away.
20 seconds.
I wanted to make a note that for some folks, this might not be the job that they see for themselves. However, we all have relatives, friends, individuals that we know of. So if this might not be the best opportunity, I do welcome everyone to spread the word. Maybe it could work for someone else that you may know, and we'd greatly appreciate the spread of that word. Thank you.
Exactly, Jim. If I may add, we also encourage people with bilingual skills.
Oh, please.
It
yes.
is so important that we get people who speak English and another language. And it's so important because you're going to be working in your communities, and we need that kind of help if you speak another language, be it Spanish, Hmong, Punjabi, any other language that you speak besides English.
I want to thank Ike and Carlos for being here today to cement for us the urgency of the Census 2020. We'll be back next week with another program, but until then, God bless. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Appreciate it.